Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Permission To. Oh my gosh, it is almost the end of January. I have had the best January, but I feel like it's gone very quickly. So it seems fitting today because we've done, 2 episodes on how I plan my year. I really want to share with you a very personal, quite vulnerable story. Something that I experienced end of last year, early this year, where I almost made a really, really big mistake with how I was planning my year and how I was setting up my year and the goals I was setting. So I'm going to share this story really vulnerably, hoping that it'll support you to just have a look at your goals and make sure that you're not making the same mistake that I almost did. There's going to be some questions at the end for you to kind of almost just filter your goals, check in with them, make sure that they're feeling really aligned. So I'll just dive straight into the story. I know so many women will be able to relate to this, but last year I put on some weight. I think my thyroid was really slow, which apparently affects your weight, but also just wasn't feeling my best or my healthiest. And so I go into this clothes shop that I love. I won't name and shame the brand, even though I'm very tempted to. But they only go up to a size 16, and I guess I'm between a size 16 and 18. And so I spent like 2 hours in this shop. It was close to Christmas and I really wanted to find something, beautiful and comfortable to wear that I felt great in. And I walked out of the shop feeling so rubbish because nothing fit me. And obviously, there's on one level, I really believe in health at every size, and I believe that these shops need to do such a better job at having more inclusive sizing because stopping at a 16 and having very few outfits in a size 16, it's not good for anyone. So they're on that kind of bigger picture level. When I walked out of that shop, I just felt frustrated and when is this going to change? I love online shopping, but I also like to be able to just walk into a shop that I love and actually for them to have my size. So there was that awareness, but also to be completely honest and vulnerable, I felt pretty rubbish about my body at that moment. Even though I believe in health at every size, I don't believe that we should be forcing ourselves to look a certain way. It still didn't feel good not being able to wear the clothes that I usually enjoy wearing, and just being aware that I had put on that weight. And so I started to think, okay, next year I'm going to have a goal. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to focus on going to the gym. I'm going to focus on healthy eating, all of those things. And as I kind of started to think about this goal, my whole body contracted and I felt like this miserable feeling of oh, you're in trouble and, you need to do better next year. It just didn't feel good. I think it was almost like little Sam feeling a sense of shame, oh, I've done the wrong thing here. And I'm so glad that I've done so much self-awareness work. I've done so much personal development work. And so I noticed that contraction straight away. I noticed that heavy feeling and that this goal didn't feel good. And what I realized in that moment was that I had just almost set a goal from my inner critic. And this is why I'm saying I'm just inviting everyone to just gently check in about the goals that you've set and how they feel, because I almost made this mistake. I'm glad I noticed it and changed it. And so what I ended up doing was thinking, hang on, my inner critic is not someone that I want to pay attention to. I certainly don't want to give her so much power over me that she is setting my goals for 2024 and already making me feel miserable. So which part of me do I actually want to be leading with and allowing to set the goals and set the tone for how I speak to myself. And so what I did was I thought, no, I've been working a lot on my self-worth and my self-compassion. I want the goal to come from that part of me. And so what I did is I thought, okay, I know I do need to look after myself better this year. I know that my health kind of really declined a bit last year after we went traveling. And so what can I do differently? But how can I set this goal in a way that feels like really beautiful and loving? So instead of being like, oh, you've got to have a diet, you've got to lose weight, all of that stuff that made me feel horrible, I was like, right, Sam, you're going to prioritize your health, you're going to prioritize your mental health. So I actually found the most amazing gym last year before I got sick, before we went away. And I'd kind of started to play with going back there a couple of times a week in December. And I was like, right, I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week, not because I need to lose weight, but because I actually really enjoy it there. There's a lot of strength work, not heaps of cardio, a little bit of cardio. But I love the community there. Like, it's not like the typical gym that isn't really my vibe. It's like a real small family kind of community vibe. So I was like, right, I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week. I'm going to set that goal with the condition that I'll be compassionate with myself, because as any mum, a toddler mum will tell you, often your kids get sick, you get sick, you fall out of routine. I'm someone who then finds it quite hard to get back into the routine, and then I can be hard on myself about that. And I was like, no, I'm going to be compassionate about myself if we get sick or if I need to make any changes, but this is my goal. And then, I thought, well, so my goal for this year is to move my body in ways that feel joyful and loving and nurturing. And that includes lifting weights at this gym. And it also includes going back to my dance classes that I hadn't been to since Frankie was a baby. And just eating food that makes me feel good. And that's not about restricting either. It's just about being really aware of what I'm eating and allowing myself to eat for joy and pleasure, but also like allowing myself to eat for energy and for health. So that's what I've played with. And in many ways, it sounds like the exact same goal, right? But for me, there's such a powerful shift because the goal isn't coming from my inner critic. The goal is coming from that more loving, mothering, nurturing energy, which is what I need this year. I need to give myself more of that energy. So this is why I wanted to share that story. And it's a little bit of an invitation for you to maybe get your pen and paper out and play around with the different sides of yourself. So you might know that you've got an inner critic or an inner mean girl or whatever you like to call them. And then if you've been working with me or listening to me for a while, you might have this more inner, compassionate, tender side of yourself that likes to give yourself grace and support yourself with your goals, but in a loving, gentle way. Or there might be like your inner perfectionist who's just like, no, I'm not going to set a goal unless I'm going to get it 1,000% right. So just pay attention to like the different parts of yourself that you're aware of, and then what role did they play in setting your goals? And if, like me, you almost catch yourself setting a goal that doesn't feel very good, that feels kind of more punishy, then an invitation to kind of invite that more compassionate, gentle side in, and for them to have a look at the goal. And it doesn't mean that you have to completely rewrite the goal, but you can approach it in a way that's so much more aligned with who you want to be this year, and in a way that isn't critical or punishy or shaming. So that is it for today. I am going to try and do more like just really short, sharp episodes this year, because I think, again, that's me just trying to let go of the perfectionism. Like, I think when I have this rule that I have to do this really long, complicated episode and I have to plan it a lot, that actually stops me from just getting a podcast out. So this is an example of me taking imperfect action and just sharing one really deep, powerful lesson with you, and an invitation, if it lands for you, if it's something that you think you need to reflect on, then please do. And if this episode hit home or you could relate, just know my inbox is always there. I'd love to hear from you. And of course, I'm always really, really grateful to receive any reviews and shares as well. All right, that's it. I will talk to you again soon.